Okay, welcome to Hold Paramount Chapter 5. This is Big 3. We're going to be discussing safety of the public, and one of the things when it comes to engineering and safety of the public that you have to take into consideration is finances. You know, everything you do to safeguard the public from, if it's traffic injuries or buildings collapsing or bridges, it all costs money. So a lot of times you have to put, as hard as it may seem, you have to put a dollar amount on even human life. It's calculated that if humans work, 40-some years, averaging about $60,000 a year, their worth, or net worth, just in dollars of what they've made, would be something around $1.5 million. So if you feel you could save one life a year on a highway by instituting $500,000 worth of safety repairs or safety measures, it would be economical. But not every decision is always that easy, because it really is hard to put a dollar value on human life. What this is called cost-benefit analysis, when you try to determine how much people are worth and how far you can go in helping them, financially at least. You could consider hospital treatment of an 18-year-old versus a 90-year-old. This is another way of cost-benefit analysis. A lot of times, hospitals will be more willing to pay more money for the 18-year-old because not only do they have a lot of productive life ahead of them, contribution to society, but also, the 90-year-old's pretty much past all that. So, in individual situations, you might feel that, of course, a 90-year-old is still a human being that deserves just as much medical attention, if necessary, as anybody, but it doesn't always happen that way. Okay, now, we've been talking, this chapter also deals with something called whistleblowing, which goes on in professional occupations and industry and just business in general. Whistleblowing is basically where an employee often suddenly makes public some problem that he sees dangerous to the public going on in the company. This could be something that could affect the environment, something that could affect the people of the structure of the building, something that could affect employees in the company. It could be a lot of things. Now it depends. Sometimes whistleblowing is good, sometimes it's bad, but a lot of times the whistleblower always gets negative attention. They get hounded by the media sometimes, they get viewed as tattletales. But a lot of times, it is justifiable if some of these conditions are met. The practice is about to cause serious harm. The engineer is reported as concerned to her immediate manager without success. The employee has exhausted the procedures that are internal to the organization, including reporting the concern to top management without success. The employee believes that good will be achieved, that the good that will be achieved will outweigh the harm that will be caused, both to the organization and to the whistleblower himself. Okay, now that being said, whistleblowing still damages people's reputations, because people, oftentimes, if there's not enough documentation behind what they're saying, they don't know if they can take it or not, or if they're just trying to cause problems with the company. Alright. And as I sort of said before, an employee has to have adequate documentation. That is documentation that convinces a reasonable and presumably adequately informed person. So, if a person sees a problem in a company, it's going to be an ethical violation or a moral violation. If they have documentation to back it up, if they have the facts, they feel that they themselves will be guilty if they don't blow the whistle, then they should. They should go ahead and make that concern known to the public, first, of course, to their management, and maybe even the media if they feel that's the only way to protect people. And that goes for engineers too. If the design is faulty and the management just does not care about it or doesn't see the problem, but you as an engineer know that there's going to be a problem and it could cause loss of life, then yes, you do have a responsibility. As the example of Chris in the book, you have a responsibility to make that public and let the public know that there is a problem. I'm going to quickly discuss the disaster in Kansas City that happened at the Hotel Atrium in 1981 was. where two poorly designed walkways collapsed and killed over 114 people and injured 186 more. Okay, this is an example where engineers really were held to blame, and it turns out the engineers involved in this case, the ones that sealed the documents, lost their licenses in 3 states and paid a lot of fines. Now, some might even think that's enough for all the loss of life due to their negligence, but that's still a lot. And it turns out they just poorly designed the thing. Top engineers didn't really go over their work to see if, in fact, the design was safe. And it ended up being a worst case scenario where people died and careers were pretty much ruined. So, I guess in conclusion then, engineers often have to be prepared to maybe even risk their careers in by making known to the public or management concerns that they might have, even if that might slow down the contract or cost more money to the company. They have to take that into consideration if they're sure and they feel that they cannot go on and proceed when they know there's a problem that could hurt the public. Okay, I think that pretty much does it for whole Paramount Chapter 5.